Hello, Vanessa Cruz here on my very first podcast on my own. I decided to venture off on my own, and I am going to be interviewing people on them discovering their brilliance in life. As you know, I'm a mindset and personal development coach, and I love hearing people's stories. I love inspiring others and sharing how everybody's definition of success and brilliance is so unique. And so I'm really excited for my first guest today. I met Nancy through a program that we're both a part of, and she so kindly offered to be my first interview. So I'm going to read her bio. At the age of 91 years old, Nancy B, as her friends call her, is still driving, line dancing, speaking, and teaching others by example how to live an ageless life. Her new book, To Hell with Aging, hit #2 bestseller on Amazon, Kindle, and #1 new release. She's outrageous and audacious. And if you don't think so, catch some of her videos on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. They may make you giggle, wiggle, or cough, but they won't be boring. So, without further ado, I will add in Nancy.
Hi there.
Hello.
I forgot
I
that I
love your
wrote all that.
bio. I love it. It's so great. It's so perfect.
I get to be number one. I mean, I was a little disappointed. I got to tell you that I
Yeah.
didn't make number one on bestseller on Amazon. I had to settle for number two, but I get to be number
Hey,
one with
new
Vanessa
release.
Cruz. Yeah,
Yes.
on your podcast.
Yes.
I'm number one. I
You are
made
number
it.
one
Yay!
again. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. I just read a little bio about you, but what else would you like to say about yourself? The type of coach you are, the work that you're doing, anything else you'd like to share?
Well, I had a little bout with the hospital in 2022. It was in and out, in and out. And it took me a long time to figure out what was going on, but I had to I had to learn to recreate my body. It wasn't doing what I wanted it to do, and I was mad at it, and I was angry at it. So it just kept going badder and badder and badder because that's kind of how it goes when we. So at one point, I just went, I got to figure this thing out. Damn thing's going to kill me. So I sat on the couch and I learned to love myself sitting on the couch, reading a book, taking a nap, drinking a tea. I had to learn to love that. And that's not really who I've been. It's been, like the type A squared. I always say I was a
Ah,
type A. So,
yeah.
but I couldn't fight it, Vanessa. When I fought it, it just kept hanging on. I had to learn how to love this new me and respect this body. It's been carrying
Yeah.
this soul around for 90 plus years now, and it's done a pretty good job. And I have to respect it. So when it tells me you're done, I just go sit down.
Eh,
And the rest of
that's
the time I
good.
get to sing and dance and play and write and speak and teach and travel and with my wonderful family of 24 grand and great grandkids
Oh,
and
wow.
my new book and all of that. I am so blessed.
Wow, I love so much of that. Really listening to your body. I was going to ask you, what was a pivotal moment that led you to this personal development and self-discovery story? But it sounds like the last couple of years was really that thing that really
Was.
made you take a step back and reassess.
And it took about a year, from when I left the hospital, I was on a walker and I couldn't really walk. I was kind of shuffling my feet. And I'm a dancer. What's that about? So I'm shuffling my feet, but I started walking a little, even with the walker. I walked a little bit around the block and then I switched to cane. And now I'm line dancing. I go line dancing every Wednesday night.
Oh, wow. I
I
love
do.
it.
And with
So
my
tell,
friend,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just,
yeah.
and I think I honestly believe in my heart that the reason I've been brought back to this level of wellness and ability to do and speak is because this is what I came here to do. My whole life
Mhm.
has been preparing me for this. That's what I believe to be the truth.
I love that. Tell me more about that because you recently just wrote this book. What did that story how did that story come about, and how did you land on really knowing that this is your purpose and passion?
Well, I wrote another book, till Life is a Game and You Can Play It, a number of years ago, and I was writing another book called Get Up, Get Out, Get Going. When Thor from our spiritual center said he was going to teach a 6-week class on how to write a short book in 6 weeks, and if we did our job and got everything done we were supposed to, he would help us get it up on Kindle, on Amazon Kindle. And I went, "That's what I need. I don't know how to do those things." So I set the other thing aside and he's made it so easy. He made it so he just broke it down and gave us a little piece each week, and I got it done on time. And so I thought I was done in December, but it's taken all this time to edit it and get it up. But so I have to ring my bell.
Yes,
So
show it.
here's so here it is. The hell with aging, and that's me on the skateboard in the pink
I love
wig
it.
on the skateboard, and underneath it says 7 lessons for living an ageless life. So I wrote things that I've learned, Vanessa. Stuff that you learn. Like one of the chapters is, are you feeling sad, lonely, depressed, scared? I sure was. Then what do you do with that? How
Right.
do you have like tools in your toolbox that you can pull out? What would that be for you? I love music, helps me.
Yeah.
If it gets too quiet around here, I'll I'll turn on some music, country music or Pandora. So something's just going on in the background, so I don't feel so alone, you know? And
Yeah.
and then what else? Planted my garden. I love my patio and I love working out there, getting outside, walking, call somebody. I accidentally ran in, there's serendipitous, just no
Yeah.
accidents, right? So I walk my little neighborhood and I go different directions. But I had passed this one woman 2 or 3 times and we chatted for just a moment. She'd sit in her garage. She had a whole setup in her garage where she'd be shaded and she could watch the world go by. So we eventually chatted enough that we exchanged phone numbers. Her name's Myrna. She said, just remember Myrna Loy. Myrna Loy was a star umpteen years ago. So she said, so her name's Myrna. So I remembered it. So, like 2 days later, she called me and said, I hate to do this, but I broke my shoulder and I need to go to the hospital. I said, I'm there. Give me 5 minutes. So it's like, I love those serendipitous happenings that she was alone. She had a grandson lives with her, but he was working and she would have to wait hours for him to come home. And I said, no, no. So let's go to urgent care. I said, no, I think probably ER is better for a broken shoulder, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I mean, and so we become friends. And I
Yeah.
was I was there in the moment that she needed it, and I was so grateful and happy to have exchanged numbers so that I could do that for her, because
Yeah.
otherwise she would have just sat there, in agony all day waiting for somebody to come home that could take her. So
Yeah.
I
What I'm hearing is like a lifelong journey of supporting others and making those really meaningful connections and looking for those serendipitous moments in life that bring you a bigger sense of purpose and passion and meaning.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. Yeah. But you have a wealth of wisdom, right? So what led you to that and then ultimately knowing like I want to give back in this way? Are you currently coaching, working with clients? What does your day-to-day look like in that regard?
I am not a coach. I'm a non-denominational minister,
Oh,
so I'm still active as a staff minister in our spiritual center in Westlake. I had my own spiritual center in Fallbrook, which is like the tip of San Diego, the northern tip of San Diego. And for 10 years, I was a senior minister there with my husband. But he passed, and I came back to this area to be closer to my kids. So,
how nice.
you know, I hmm, I read it. I'm kind of going off track here, but I read a quote this morning from Wayne Dyer that says, everything you're against weakens you, and everything you're for empowers you. And if
I
I'd
love that.
known that 40 years ago, my life would have been so much better. It's so simple, Vanessa. It's so simple. And yet it it can change our lives. It changed my life dramatically. I was a professional actress and I became unhappy with myself in the industry, not with the industry, but with myself because I had become a master at self sabotage. So the biggest
Mm.
job, that I'd worked for my entire life, I started when I was 4 years old. So
Oh, wow.
the biggest job came, Dynasty, and I sabotaged it. And I went, "Okay, I'm done. If I have worked all these years to get," I mean, in every kind of class you can think of, every day, dancing, singing, acting. I mean, you name it, I did it. And then sabotage it. I need to find out what's going on. And that's when I began my spiritual journey. So I had to
Oh,
learn.
wow.
If somebody had just told me what you're against weakens you and what you're for empowers you, being against myself, just I just kept self-sabotaging myself. The better it got, the more I go, wham. And I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know I was doing it. I thought other people outside of me were pulling my puppet strings. But then when you really are willing to look inside and ask what's going on and what is impelling you, what's the drive, what is that back there that's saying that stuff in your head? Do you ever have that stuff
Yeah.
in your head, Vanessa?
Oh, girl, I get those things in my head all the time. And I love listening to you share those because, I think it's from my understanding, it's going to be a lifelong journey, right? Like we have the highs and the lows of everything making sense, and you feel like you're on the right path and this is it. And then those voices come in our heads and they do that self sabotage. And, in my experience with learning coaching and supporting people, it's like, for some in some way they're there to protect you, right? Keep you safe, make you not do anything that's going to hurt you physically. But we've progressed so far beyond that belief, that now our brain just tells us things that are not useful. And one of the books that I was reading, it's like it's a half BS. It's just saying all this stuff all the time. And you have to learn this practice of overcoming those thoughts. So how have you
It's like,
made a practice around overcoming that?
yeah, it's like, who's that? Who's talking? Hello? Well, I learned there's nobody that thinks in my mind but me. I'm the thinker in my mind. So if I made up something that I'm not deserving, that I'm not good enough, and I was raised with a lot of those kinds of feelings, it, I don't, I don't know. I can't say that it was actually spoken so much, but it was very definitely there in our family. Our food wasn't good enough, our house wasn't good enough, we weren't good enough. Nothing. So I got all that. So how to counter that then with accepting that if 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 we're all cut from the same cloth, if I have a nephew who works in the UN on peace around the world, and he says if everything started from one thing, I don't care if you call it the Big Bang or you call it God or you call it the 7 day, whatever you want to call it. If everything started from one thing, then we're all related. Then you and I and everybody on the planet are related. And not only are we related, if we came from the same one thing, then we have that's how we connect with each other. That's why we can feel a connection with each other instantly. Sometimes you meet people and you just know instantly. Like you. I mean, you have such an open, loving, welcoming kind of face. You know what I mean?
Thank
And
you.
that beautiful smile and all that. How could you not be? How could I not feel safe and good around you? Anyway, I don't know where that was going.
Yeah, I love it. No, so you were just sharing. I love it all, right? Because I think that's so important too in building community and having that connection with others, like you did for your neighbor, and making those connections with the people around you helps you. For me too, in those moments when you're feeling like What am I doing? What's going on? Nothing makes sense. Why am I here? Why am I experiencing this? That community can really support you getting out of those times, right? And I think it's so um, normal to isolate yourself when you're feeling down, but it
Yeah,
is in the community that you can build for yourself that can help you get out of those really tough times.
that's
It sounds like you do that with your church and your group that you reach out to.
that's
It's like building that
that's
community.
yes, yes, absolutely. Something floated through there, but I didn't catch it. I don't know what it was, but we'll come back to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you asked me you asked me, how, how do I get out of that? How did I change
yeah,
that? Um, so in my belief system, in my way of thinking about things, if my I'm co-creating my own life. I'm co-creating my own life with my beliefs and my thoughts. So if I so I wrote in my book, I believe I'm 90 years old. I was 90 when I wrote it, 91 when it was published, though. So 91. And by the way, here's my crown to prove it.
Oh, I love it.
Thought I would bring my crown. It says, it's so crooked. It says 90. See?
There we go. You need to wear that. Don't take it off.
So I figured I'll just keep wearing it. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
still in my 90s. So I'm just keep on wearing it. But I was a professional actress up until 2021. So
Oh, wow.
that was really my career. And I would keep taking time off to raise kids, to become a minister. And every time something would finish, I'd come back to my first love, which was acting. And so I love to feel the spirit move through me that excites me and inspires other people. It gets in me and it changes me somehow. I don't know what it is. I mean, sometimes as the minister in my church, I would have this talk all written. I would look at it. I'd be ready to go up on the platform, and I'd look at it and I'd go, "This is really crap. I don't like what I wrote. It's this is what am I going to do with this?" And then I would get up there, and somehow the music, whatever would infuse me. Something would just come in and it would just go. And and I would go. I mean, I just was taken up by some energy in me. I've always had this incredible energy and I don't know why. There's no why. It just is what it is. And that's what I said. That's why I think I've been brought back with this energy now to model it for other people. There's a
I
book.
love that.
There's a book, Conversations with God, and it says in there, um, "Do not hide your light under a bushel, but let it shine, so that others may see the wonder of you, thus to know the wonder of themselves. For others see their possibility in your reality.
Oh,
Be then
wow.
a model to the world. Be a model for the world." And I got that. I found that like 8 years ago, and it stays with me. I think
I love
my
that.
job now is to do my best to model what it could look like to be 90 and feel 70 on the inside.
Yeah. And living life so beautifully. I love, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful that you are my first conversation because what a way to share your brilliance, right? Like understanding that that is your energy is your gift. It's your brilliance and sharing that now with people and inspiring people to say, live it on your own terms, co-create this life that you're having and you can make it to 100 living beautifully, still driving and dancing and making new meaningful connections. What an inspiration.
And it's all about our beliefs, like you said before. So I wrote in my book, I still drive. I expect to drive, so I still drive. I expect to dance, so I still dance. That's my belief system. But I don't believe that I can sleep through the night without a sleep aid. So I can't because I don't
Yeah.
believe it. I can tell you, I can write affirmations, I could sing a song and write a poem about it and walk around all day and tell you how fabulously I can sleep without sleep aids. But if I don't believe it, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
I'm going to lay down and it's going to go, oh, I'm not sleepy right now. I think I'll get up and go do something. So it's about my belief system. And I totally believe that it's natural and normal for me to drive. So I just drive. It's not, I drove to Palm Springs the other day, a couple weeks ago, and it was fine. It's not a problem. It's
Yeah.
easy. And
I'm
dancing,
so Oh, yeah, go ahead.
dancing's easy too and fun.
Yeah. I love that so much because the work that I do is in your mindset, right? And I'm really fascinated about how our brains work. And I'm currently reading a book called Drive, the surprising truth about what motivates us, right? But on the chapter that I'm on right now, they're talking about our mindset and how what we tell ourselves is what we would believe, and then it's what we believe we can achieve, and it's how we frame our entire lives. So tell me a little bit more about your mindset. And has that always been your mindset? I know you've said you've had these highs and your lows, but how have you incorporated now into this mindset for continuous growth um, to live this beautiful ageless life?
It took a long time. Took a long time. Took a lot of inner work, a lot of willingness to look at and be willing to see what was what was being said, what I was hearing, what I was believing, and journaling. You just I just journal and um, I want to use the talents and abilities I've been given to inspire other people to know that there's no reason for them to sit on their couch in their living room and be alone. It isn't healthy and it's not necessary. There are people out there who are hungry for a friend, just like my little friend Myrna that I just met. Her husband passed a year ago, and she's really sad and needing. And I made her laugh. I showed her some videos I did, and it made her laugh so hard I had to go home because it hurt her shoulder. But I think if we go out, I had a dear friend, Bill Hansen, who had Parkinson's disease, and he said, "I wake every day with the goal to make one person's day a little better, to give
Mhm.
joy to one person today." That's what he woke with his goal, and I never saw him that he didn't bring a pamphlet or an affirmation he found or a book he thought I'd like to read. Every time it was always about what could he give to another, not what can I get from you, but what can I give. And I think if more of us could get into that giving mentality and be sure that everyone around us is being served rather than what could I get from Vanessa, maybe I could, that
Mhm.
kind of thing. And that's this whole thing back here. That's that reptilian brain that goes survival, survival, survival. It's not
Yeah.
telling the truth. The truth
Yeah.
is all about, oh, one thing I found, two things I found, but I want to read you this one, if I may,
Of
from my
course.
book. So this is from Random Acts of Love, and it said the author was unknown. And I think if we could adopt some of this, it would help everybody. It says, eat like you love yourself. Move like you love yourself. Speak like you love yourself. Act like you love yourself. Love yourself.
Ugh, I love that.
And Anita Morjani in her book Dying to Be Me said, I can't quote it exactly, but paraphrasing, I can't tell you how important it is to have a love affair with yourself. And the self that, because she had died and she was totally gone for a while and came back. And what she said, what I discovered is that the entire universe is made out of unconditional love. And that's
Mm,
what we have to be too. At our core, we're all unconditional love. No matter what we act like. I had a meltdown the other day. I'm still I'm still a center of unconditional love. That's who, and when we come from that place, it just feels so good.
yeah. What
Every
wisdom. I love that. And I think it helps too as you walk through life when you kind of embrace that. I try to incorporate that in my daily life by complimenting people in the moment, right? Like if I see somebody, I'll stop and be like, "You look absolutely flawless today." I always do that. And it's funny. I have two young kids and I want them to learn all the great things in life, but my daughter has picked that up too. So she's like, "Oh, mom, look at that lady's beautiful eyes." We were at lunch the other day and
That's
she did that and
sweet.
she wanted to tell the lady so bad. She's 3 and she was like, "Can I go tell her that her eyes are beautiful?" And I was like, "Yes, baby girl." And I think
Absolutely.
if we focus more on what we like, because it is a very, like to your point, not what can I get out of people, let's this, but just leave them with something lovely, right? Something better and focus on that positive and the beauty in everybody is really so powerful. And you can change somebody's life in a way you never even thought, right? In that, I have a question.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody who's embarking on this self discovery journey, trying to figure out what the hell to do with their life, their purpose, their passion, trying to find fulfillment? What would be, I know you just said loving yourself. What advice would you give to somebody?
Hmm. For me, it's helpful to be around people of like mind who can remind me when I forget who I really am and what I really have to give to the world, that it matters. Somebody said the other day, I can't quit because the work that I do matters. And I want people to know that they matter, that they make a difference in the world by how they show up, by how they communicate. And I think you said something a moment ago. It's about being in the moment. And I have to really watch it because I want to be in the past or the future. I'm either, shouldn't have done that or what's coming around the corner kind of thing. But it's being in the moment. So I'll share this little story. So yesterday, my car's in the shop. So my friend lent me her car. It's an old Prius. She just keeps it for an extra car if the kids want to drive around, and it's kind of beat up. So I drove it one whole day and I knew I was going to fix it up, but I took it to the car wash. I said, okay, I'm done. I put on new wiper blades. I want it inside out. I want it shining. I don't care. I just want it beautiful. So I gave him the card. I went inside and paid. And then I used the restroom. And the restroom was spotless. Now, this is in a car wash, right? In a car wash. I mean, it was spotless. I walked out and I said to the girl, "Is the manager around?" She said, "Yes." I said, "I want to tell him something good." And he came out and I said, as a woman, particularly around anything to do with cars, mechanical, they can be really gross. And your restroom is absolutely spotless. And I want you to know how much I appreciated that, the effort that went into that. That's not an accident. That's an effort that comes from top down.
Intention.
It's an
Yeah.
intention. Yes, it's an intention to be of
Yeah.
service, of high service, of high
Yeah.
service. So I just love that, and it was just a moment, and yet that made his day. It made my day first, and then I got to make his day. Just and I
Yeah.
try to do that with cashiers. They look
Yeah.
particularly if they look like they're really harried or someone the one before me gave them a hard time kind of thing. I'll say, so how much longer you got to go? You look pretty tired. Oh, I gotta go till 10 o'clock. Well, you're more than halfway there. You'll be good. You're fine. And thank you for I always try to say thank you for your patience and kindness that you showed to the person before me.
Yes, I love that. I don't know if you hear this knocking, but my
Yeah.
kid.
Somebody wants in.
Yes. Okay, 1 minute, buddy. Mommy's on a call. I try. I think I told you I try not to edit my videos, but we got interrupted by my little cutie who's doing a swim lesson outside. Um, I
How
love
old is
that.
how old is your little
He's
cutie?
5. My
He's
5 and I got a
5.
5 and a 3-year-old. They're very special. And I think what you
Oh,
said is so important, right? Like, especially teaching our children and the community because you have to live by example, and that's what you're doing is living by example, and that's motivating in itself, right? That ripple effect of how you show up in your life and how you share your beautiful story and wisdom with others has a ripple effect. Um, This conversation has been so enriching for me, and just like your bio said, I want more. So how can people find you? How can they hear you talk? Where are you on social media?
I
Anything
have
you'd like to share?
I have a brand new website. It's on GoDaddy, and I think it might need one more week. It takes 60 days to go live on GoDaddy, but it's free to be dash no, I'm sorry, it's Nancy B dash free to be. That's how new it is.
I
Nancy
love it.
B dash free to be. And I'm all over Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. I just saw I have 99 new friends on TikTok from the
Oh,
last Instagram.
wow. I have
So
some things to learn from you because I just started TikTok and I don't know.
I just, I'm an actor. I can't help it.
Yeah.
I put on a crown, I put on funny glasses, I put on my gray wig, and I'm an old lady, and I'm all crotchety and weird. And I did a cowboy one. Hey, hey, you cowpokes out there, and I just have fun, and it
I
makes
love
people
it.
laugh, and lightens their day, and gives me joy, and it's a way that I can give joy to others.
Oh, Nancy, thank you so much. Can we show your book one more time, and then I'll
Oh,
make sure to link to your website and your Insta
yes,
and TikTok.
yep.
But go grab To Hell with Aging. I need to
Well,
grab a
with Ages
copy because
by
this
Nancy Bieber. And don't try this out. Don't try this out. I had to practice a long time to get that jumping in the airport.
Yeah, yeah, perfection.
Woo! Who knew?
Thank you so much, Nancy, for your time today. Is there any parting words you'd like to say before we sign off?
Yeah, love yourself.
Ah,
Everybody out there, love yourself. And it's a crazy world today. And just like I was saying, I can look at what's wrong with me and self-sabotage, or I can look at what's right with me and remember that on my inside I love. We can look at the world and just get all whacked out about it. Or we can look, there's so much good in the world. So much good.
yeah.
But it doesn't make headlines, so we don't hear about it. But I choose to focus on the good in the world and the good in people. And everybody has good in them. Everybody, and everybody
Oh,
wants a friend. So I'm going to try to be a bigger friend. I want a bigger container of love. That's what I want. That's my next goal. I want a bigger container so that nobody's left out.
I love that.
That's what I
Couldn't have
want.
said it better. Thank you so much, Nancy. And I'll make sure that everybody knows how to connect with you to grow that container so you can inspire so many more people. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Nancy.
Vanessa. It's been wonderful. I
So
enjoy